Welcome to Progress in Practice, where we explore what it really takes to build and sustain a professional service business. The hard lessons, the smart moves, the uncomfortable truths. Because success leaves clues, if you're willing to look for them. I'm Charlie Redding. Let's dive in. So Charles, welcome to the Progress in Practice podcast. Really looking forward to chatting to you because you're actually right at the start of your new journey. So this is going to be a kind of different conversation to what we've been having with some of the other guests, and also a slightly different area of the world of business. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this, and particularly around this, what you're building with ClearView. So for those people that don't know anything about you or don't know anything about ClearView, who do you serve? How do you help them? And what makes you different?
Okay, so I serve the SME market and marketing agencies as well. We realized that 82% of new businesses fail within 3 years. One of the biggest reasons why they were doing that was because they were drowning in what we call performance theatre. So multiple platforms, fragmented data, and manual tasks. So what we've done is we've gone away and we've built ClearView, which is essentially an autonomous sales and marketing intelligence platform. So it's the brain that sits behind all of your sales and marketing, and it will automate 85% of the manual execution. So if you think about your SEO, your paid ads, your analytics, it automates all of those processes, and it's based on data, not guesswork. So when you look at the market at the moment, the market's currently saturated with so many different AI tools out there that are pretty much just prompt wrappers. So what we work on is the execution engine. So we don't just give you a to-do list. We don't just we do the work, we audit the results, and then we optimize the strategy all while you sleep, all while in using AI. So you can essentially turn a junior team into a powerhouse, a bloated agency that, wants to scale to 100 clients but doesn't necessarily want to hire 100 people or can't hire 100 people. We help solve those issues there.
Brilliant. So just to let's pick SEO as an example. Historically, I would have paid my web design person or somebody else to kind of check to see whether or how optimized I was for SEO, then to go off and do a load of work for SEO, and then to report back and go, here's how I've progressed with that, and this is what my next step is. How does ClearView change that process?
So first of all, majority of business owners don't really understand what SEO is. So when they go to an agency or an external person to get them to actually do the SEO for them, they know they want to rank higher on Google, and that's the end goal. So they always start with the end goal. So I want to rank higher on Google. I want to generate more leads through my website. So SEO is something that I need to do, but they don't really understand how it works on the back end, and they don't necessarily have the clarity around how they're currently performing at the moment, which leaves a huge gap between what business owners expect and what agencies actually deliver. So when we used to do manual SEO for our clients, it could take 6 to 12 months to make your website go from page 6 onto page 1 of Google. And even at that point there, you're not necessarily getting a huge amount of leads through the website. You might be getting more, but not what your expectations are. So what ClearView does is it starts off with the dashboard. So whether you're using an agency or you're using ClearView itself, you will have access to your own dashboard, which will show you exactly how you're performing, provide you with a health score. But then most importantly, you go away, and the average, if you're going to employ someone to do SEO for you, you want to be spending between a minimum of 500, I'd probably say around 750 a month just on SEO. For some companies that are slightly bigger, you're talking into the thousands, and a huge amount of that work is just manual work. They're sitting down, they're going through step by step what they need to do to improve the website. They're writing blog posts, and they're pushing your SEO and your rankings further by doing that. And it's all manual. So there's not a lot of creativity, and there's not a lot of huge value in SEO work to start off with. So what ClearView does is it takes away all of that manual processes. So you can literally plug your website into our platform. They will run an audit. It will highlight all the areas that need improvements, and then it will go away and actually implement them for you. So it'll save you a huge amount of money in the long run, but also make sure that you are consistently staying on top of it. So SEO is not a one-off job. You have to be doing it month in, month out, and things do change. So our platform is able to identify when it changes and fix it when it changes as well. So you don't have a 4-week backlog, for example.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I should have clarified, you as soon as you started talking, I realized that made a mistake by saying SEO as opposed. So for anyone that was listening to that and not sure what we were talking about, search engine optimization, i.e., as you said, getting to the top page, the first page of Google, and even the top ranking company in your area in Google. So that's kind of what we were meaning. So what's the story that best explains why you founded ClearView and why you do what you do?
So I've spent the best part of the last 10 to 15 years working with founders, startups, helping them go to market, building sales teams, sales processes, but also handling some of the marketing side as well for them. And it was in 2020 during lockdown where there was a lot of uncertainty within the world and what's actually happening with business. People's search habits changed, the way that people use the internet changed completely as well. There was a huge amount of pressure on local businesses that honestly, it didn't serve them. And a lot of businesses unfortunately ended up closing due to lockdown. And coming out of lockdown, even the businesses that were still alive and still, making a little bit of money, they weren't being visible on the new way in which people are using technology and the search engines like Google. So I decided to set up my own sales and marketing agency. During that time, though, it was just me. So I felt like I was a little bit like on an island. And it was last year when I actually joined a founder community and I sat on a round table with some of the best agency owners in London. And I realized that, despite our different industries, we were all failing for the same reasons. So we were kind of trapped in the business of doing manual labor instead of working on the business. So ClearView itself wasn't necessarily born from a trend. It was born from a room full of experts that are tired of the messy middle. And, I do this mainly because I believe that the 82% of businesses that fail year on year deserve a better fighting chance. And that's where Clearview Clearview's idea came from. I wanted to give the local businesses, the small, medium enterprise businesses, the opportunity to actually penetrate the markets and generate more visibility and generate more leads and more business for their actual business.
Brilliant. And so you've obviously been in the world of marketing for a number, quite a few years. If you could go back to your younger self, sort of as you started out that journey, what would you say to your younger self and why?
So for me, the main message would be stop fearing the fall. That's really the fuel that drives you to the next stage. For a long time, and I think a lot of people are brought up around this, but we're often taught that failure is a stop sign when in reality, it's not. Failure is the opposite, isn't the opposite of success, for example. It's the requirement for it. And, I've only recently, it's only recently been, that I've looked back over the failures of my past and really started to realize that they actually weren't setbacks. So these were all the points of data that I needed to actually go away and build ClearView and decide what I actually want out of life and how to actually get it. And I tell myself I tell myself that humans, we're capable of achieving literally anything. And if we commit our minds to it, every experience, whether it's good or bad, it's a lesson that just sharpens your edge. And for me, I truly believe that nothing can truly hold you back from creating the life you want, the business that you want, anything to do with what you want to do personally, nothing can hold you back. If I was to sit down and really tell my younger self, my younger version of me something, it would be step out of the shadows, stop hiding from the risks, and really start leading your life the way that you want to live.
Brilliant, brilliant. And it's great advice. I remember hearing Ariana Huffington say similar words to what you just said, which is failure isn't the opposite to success, but the stepping stone towards it. And I was like, it's just such a great way of thinking. You don't get anywhere in life without failing along the way. So I think that's brilliant. And I think you're probably too young to have a next generation yet. I'm not sure. But if you could leave no money to your next generation, just one piece of advice, and maybe it's that same piece of advice, I don't know, what would it be and why?
Master the art of effective communication and human connection. So right now, we are moving into an era where AI can pretty much almost do anything technical. And in that world, the human layer, so empathy, integrity, and the ability to truly understand the person that's sitting across from you at the table really becomes the ultimate competitive advantage. So you can automate a task all you want, but you can't automate a relationship. So I would say that you need to focus on building your network, the honor of being heard, and never sell your soul for a shortcut. Never.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, like I think that's the bit that people miss with AI, isn't it? It's this opportunity to automate the boring, repetitive things, but it's an opportunity to make that human connection even better, even stronger. Do the things that humans do well even more, even better, because you've got rid of the stuff that the computer does better. So I think that's tremendous advice.
Just to add on that point, Charlie, we've just sat down the other day doing a roundtable and talking about AI and its impact on the world and what it's going to have. And, this was a roundtable with a lot of industry leaders in the space. And one thing that we highlighted that definitely, needs some attention right now is a lot of businesses going out there trying to adopt AI. There's a lot of people out there as well worrying that AI is going to take their job. But the reality is it's not. The AI just enhances your job in order for you to free up the time to do the things that you actually should be doing. And that's communicating with people and building those relationships.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think ultimately you're not going to lose your job to AI anytime soon, but you could lose your job to somebody else that knows how to use AI,
Yeah.
because they'll have triple your productivity and triple, they'll be three times faster than you could have been. So yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. What's the biggest obstacle blocking you from achieving your goals at the moment with ClearView?
So for us right now, it's, speed of execution. So we've got the proof of concept, down to a T. So we've currently got 36 active users. We've got, 80K in pipeline of letters of intent from a mixture of agencies and SMEs, really waiting for our next feature rollout. So the obstacle isn't, the market or the idea, it's the fuel. So the capital and time that we're going to then use to hard code the final features. Once that's unlocked, we pretty much move from an 80K pipeline to a global scale up. So we're currently in those final push days, weeks. I don't want to say months, but I'm staying optimistic really to turn it from ready to live. And that's currently our obstacle at the moment.
And so with that, I think what you're saying is you're currently on an investment raise to be able to fund that. Is that so? If people listen to this and they're interested in potentially, finding out more about investing, what's the best way to track you down for that?
Just jump on our website. You can send me an email. We've got info@clearviewltd.io. You can just drop me an email and you can reach out to me. I prefer phone calls, but not everybody likes picking up the phone and making a call.
Brilliant. Because I mean, I think that there is definitely a huge need for this. I know, like, I mean, literally, I just got out of another meeting with a business owner, and it wasn't even a startup business owner. This lady's been in business for 27 years, and yet she's still struggling with so many of the marketing questions that a platform like this could simplify and answer. So I can see there's a really powerful need for this. And so, yeah.
Just to add on that as well, Charlie, our philosophy is clarity, simplicity, results. So we'll give you the clarity around how you're performing as a whole across all your marketing channels in one platform, which there's no current tool out there that will do that to the level that we're doing it. We simplify that data. So, when we talk about SEO, AEO, GEO, it simplifies it so you can actually understand it. So how you're appearing how your website's appearing on Google, ranking higher, how you're appearing on AI searches, for example. So we simplify all that data so it's digestible and understandable. And then we give you the tools that you need to drive the results.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Love it. So what book, framework, or mentor do you keep returning to, or have you found hugely valuable on your journey? And where does it show up in your business today?
So when I came into ClearView, I had a mindset of how I wanted to build the company, what the product and service that we were offering was, how essentially working for startups before, I've seen how implementing certain things can have a negative effect, not only on the customer itself, but also on the employees. And we recently attended a talk with Will Beckett, who's the founder of Hawksmoor, and he talked about the Hawksmoor way. So what that taught me was that, you can go away and build £100 million brand without actually selling your soul. And we've done that with ClearView. So through our security first mindset and our collaboration with partners like Cybersea Group, we're not just building the best platform, we're also building a culture of integrity. We return the framework of utility over novelty. So, for example, if a feature doesn't solve a real world problem for our users, then it's not going to make sense to include that in the build. And the way in which I'm going to build ClearView, I'm hoping would be the blueprint on how other businesses would then move ahead and do that as well. I mean, I could talk to you for hours on that, but there's no point going into it because at the moment it's just a vision. But I'm sure I'd be happy to talk about it once we've done and tried and tested it.
Brilliant. Can I take that a step further then? Where are you in terms of, because obviously Clearview is partly in existence, it's partly a vision at this stage because it's early stage business. You're obviously raising capital to invest, to fund the build. Where do you see, are you already at MVP stage, or at what point do you get to MVP stage? And at minimum viable product, for anyone listening that doesn't know the term MVP, and at what point do you see this really kind of helping people in the way that you want it to?
Yeah, so listen, at the moment we our MVP's live. So if anybody wants to come and sign up to our platform, they're more than welcome to, and they'll get some great use out of it. The only thing that we've not got implemented at the moment is all of the integrations for your social media and email marketing channels, and then the autonomous aspect of it. So we do have a lot of, well, I mean, like I said, we've got 36 users currently using our platform on a day-to-day basis now. We are able to run the audits. We're able to give you the tasks to go away and implement them yourself. So we don't just say, for example, you need to change your meta description or your meta description needs to be better. We'll break it down for you. So we'll give you a description of the issue. We'll give you the steps in which to fix it as well. So if you don't know how to change your meta description on your website, all of the steps are there filled out, ready for you to go. So people can actually use the platform. One thing that's stopping me, and this kind of goes back to the vision and how I want to build ClearView. So one thing that's stopping me not really going to market right now is because I want to have a pretty much near to completed product before we start hyper targeting industries and businesses. And how we're doing that is at the moment we're searching for 15 founding users. So these will be 5 marketing agencies, 10 SMEs across 10 different industries. They'll come on board. They'll pay us a one-off fee for lifetime access to the platform, and they pretty much beta test, trial, test the platform, but provide us the feedback that we need to make the relevant improvements. And it's only once we've got that whole list of 15 founding users and the case studies behind that where we can really give you tangible evidence to say, listen, we've helped X company and X vertical achieve X, then we're going to go to market. A lot of, tools that I've been testing over the past 18 months at the moment, they'll say one thing on their marketing, on their Instagram page or on their ads, but then when you actually get down and use the platform, offers something completely different. It's nowhere near to what they promised. So a big thing that we want to focus on is expectations versus reality. I've been brought up, and the way that I work and the way that I communicate with people is complete transparency. Whether you like the answers or not, I'm going to tell you the truth and be transparent up front rather than tell you the vision and then kind of be truthful around that aspect. So that's that's kind of where we are at the moment. But we've got a huge amount of conversations going on at the moment, and it's going really well. And the majority of our users right now are just waiting for us to roll out version 2, which will be in the next 30 days. And once that's done, then we'll be hit the pedal down on the gas lever and go.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I look forward to following the journey. I think it's definitely a much needed solution for SMEs. So, for those people that want to find out more about you or the investment raise or about the platform, where's the best website for them to go find?
Yeah, so our website's clearviewlimited.io. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can also jump on our Instagram. It's exactly the same, clearviewlimited.io. I do have my phone number hovering I think it's on our Google My Business profile. So if you did want to just give me a call and have a chat, feel free to reach out or get in contact with me on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Charles, it's been fascinating chatting to you. Loved some of the insights and love the journey that you're on. So thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. Just as a reminder, Progress in Practice podcast is brought to you by the trusted team that helps professional service firms build a saleable and scalable business. So yeah, Charles, I wish you every success with the business, the raise and everything else. Thank you again for coming on. And for everyone listening, yeah, just keep on making progress. If this conversation resonated, you'll find more support, structure and community inside the trusted team, where ambitious service-based founders come to build businesses that are scalable, saleable and sustainable. You can find out more at thetrusted.team. And if you're enjoying Progress in Practice, please make sure you follow the show and leave a rating and review. It really helps more founders find these conversations and to bring you better and better guests. So until the next time, keep progressing.